Hey there, it's Ryan and welcome to today's acrylic landscape lesson. Here we are going to attempt to complete this canvas in only 15 minutes. I have the timer ready to go on my phone, and as per usual, if you'd like help with the drawing process, you can find the traceable and the real-time drawing video up over on Patreon to just help you get into that painting process. We are hopefully going to complete this in only 15 minutes, but regardless, it'll be a good little intro to fall, and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's jump in and have some fun. All right, we're going to begin by making sure our brush is nice and damp. We'll grab an abundance of titanium white, hint of cerulean blue, mix that up well, and we'll apply it right on top of our sky. We'll make the top of our sky a little bit more blue, like that. Just double down. Make it a bit more saturated, create our first gradient. I always like to start with skies like this, just because it feels nice and easy, attainable. Sets us up for success, just feeling good. Then, once we have our sky implemented, we're going to grab some of our cadmium orange, some of our cadmium yellow, about an equal mixture. Titanium white, a little bit less, but this will be good. It'll thicken it up, it'll desaturate it to a point. And once we have that well mixed, we're going to switch over to an old flat-headed brush, stiff bristled. I'm just going to peel these back until we have something nice and disheveled looking. And then we'll grab our pigment and we'll start applying the tops of our trees. Now, this is always quite fun. We're doing lots of little taps. We're rotating our brush in the air, never on the canvas, because then you get little swooshes, and we don't want that. We want sharp implications to render the idea of foliage. Now with this, as you can see towards the top, a lot of the markings get lost. They almost blend into the blue and the white of the sky. That's great. That gives us some depth to begin with. And then as we get farther down, we're going to take our larger flathead brush. We'll implement just a little bit more of that orange right underneath. Maybe we do a little bit along the side here. We'll do a couple different colors for our trees, but we'll start with this. Tap it along the edge. Tap this up into our previous applications. And now we'll change our color to do a little bit of a blend. So we'll grab some Cad Red, some titanium white, a little bit of Oxide Black. Create a nice mid value, slightly more complex, slightly more moody, I would say, but this will create some contrast and some details. Good start. Now we'll bring that up here. Lovely, already has a lot of dimension. We're building contrast, we're building little openings in the trees where shadows can show through. We'll put this towards the bottoms of the trees and the backs because it's where light can't necessarily work its way in. Beautiful start. I think we'll get a little bit more Oxide Black. Progressively just changing the value to be slightly more dramatic. But right back here, we're going to leave it as it is because we don't really want it too dark. We have a lot of atmospheric light back there. Towards the foreground, it's different. You have the sharper contrasts there. But that's a great beginning to our foliage. Now we'll render some big red trees. So way more of our Cad Red in that mix. Cad Red dominant. And you know what? Actually, I'll start applying it with the large flathead brush. Save some time. We'll do that there. We'll do that over here in the negative space. Beautiful. We'll get some extra Oxide Black. We'll work that towards the bottom and the back. You can see there's a lot of pigment going on the canvas right now, and that's great because it's going to keep it wet for a longer period of time. Let us do the wet into wet blends and taps. And then we'll take off our excess pigment. We'll create a bit of a brighter variant of our reds using our titanium white, Cad Red, and such. We'll grab that, work it along our edges, And as you can see, we already have multiple colors of trees, which is nice, building up that diversity. And then we'll start working that back into our previous mixes. And this is where we switch the application style that we had before into something that's more textured and akin to what we have in the distance. But I think this is actually pretty great as it is. We'll head on over here, continue that process, and you can see how the color really complexifies through this because we're moving a lot of pigments in with each other. We'll just move that out. We'll come back over a lot of this with highlights in a later step, but for now, I think this is pretty good. It's all about layering, taking some time to do so. That said, it's a pretty good first 5 minutes. Now I think we'll work on some of our grass, and we'll do so with our green gold, a little bit of our cad yellow to warm it up, a little bit of our cad orange to make it feel much more fall-like, and then an abundance of titanium white. Give it that nice glow for the background. We're going to apply that as far away from us as we can, and then just have it slowly work its way forward. We'll also apply it on this line, this hill, as it too will catch light. So then we'll just start moving that back. Now we'll go back to mixing again. We'll grab more of our green gold, work that in there. A little bit of our Oxide Black, not too much because it's pretty powerful. Yeah, that's perfect. I'll blend one into the other. And I'm trying to create a lot of leading lines with my brush strokes right now. So they're all pushing towards the center of the canvas. There we are. Now we'll make it even more green. We'll make it a little bit darker. We're progressively going to do more and more of that. Beautiful. Nice and easy. Do little taps up into the tree. That way it looks like there's little bits of fallen leaves on the ground. There's a good transition, like that. Then significantly more Oxide Black, significantly more green gold for the edges, which will be far more vignetted. And right now, it all looks a little abstract, but that's okay. We are going to get this to the point where it's a bit more natural feeling. Just need to trust the process. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to switch back to the old disheveled brush. You can see we have 7.5 minutes left. That's pretty nice. Now we'll just do some little taps in the background. This will connect it with our distant applications as we're now doing the same textural implementation. And we'll work that out from the highlight to the shadow. This is all pretty far, so my technique isn't really changing much. However, as I get closer to the foreground, I'm going to start implementing more of a drag in the tap. And this is just going to show us what grass looks like. A little bit more of a detailed rendering of it. So again, taps, and now I'm getting to the point where it's more of a drag. A lot of the pigment is still wet, so I'm very easily able to move it around and get these nice effects. We'll add a little bit of shadow along the base of this path. There we go. This is really nice. This is really nice. Great start. Very cathartic. Already feels like fall. I'm quite happy. I'm also going back to our mix to create more of a color for our ground, which I think will be our Cad Orange, Oxide Black, Titanium White. We want to render a brown. So more Cad Orange and a little bit of Cerulean Blue. They're complementary colors, so when you put them together, they'll desaturate each other and they'll kind of nullify hues to a point. We'll throw that right towards our foreground. And then as we get closer to the back, we're going to render a brighter mix, so more titanium white in there. A little bit of our cad yellow. There we are. See that? So easy. Now we'll make it a little bit darker for close to us. We want a similar value to our grass. We want those to connect. Yeah, just like that. Okay. For the actual application, we are still using this brush. I'm going to start in the back. I'm going to do more horizontal little taps and drags with this. So with the grass, there's more vertical and swooshes. With this, it's horizontal. You still want texture in the ground, but you want it to be a little bit different than what we were doing previously, right? There we go. That's pretty nice. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that the camera's bright enough for you. So we're just going to do a quick little adjustment. Maybe we add 5 or 10 seconds to the clock for the little adjustments. But now I think we'll mix up a good gray for our birch trees. Like so. Get a little bit of water in there, that way it's a bit more smooth, it can glide. We'll grab our liner brush, and here we'll just start rendering some elongated branches, like so. Try to make these not too smooth. You want them to have a lot of personality, you want them to be a little jagged, you want them to always get smaller as they work their way up. We're also going to add little ones in the back, like that, just poking through little bits of foliage. You'll see them more so towards the bottom of your trees, but occasionally they'll pop up towards the tops as well. And these are the little markings that we want. You apply as little pressure as possible to get those. Very good. We'll head on over to the left-hand side of the canvas with this. There we are. Keep that going. Lovely. Little branches. Very good. Bring that up through here. Very good. Little ones again towards the back. We'll make them a bit brighter because there is more light in the background. I'll try to get a little bit of pigment off my brush, that way we can make even smaller markings. But these look great. That's exactly what we were looking for. Okay. Now I think I'll also put a tree right here. We had one in the sketch. Good. Trying to make crisscrossing branches, that way the tree looks like it has dimension. We'll apply foliage to this a little differently than we have beforehand, but we do need to let that dry. I think I also want to make the base of it a little bit darker. I can make the back of this one a little bit darker. You can see we're starting to add some extra volume into our trees. Very nice. Okay. So from here, we have 2 minutes left. Let's be smart with this. I'm going to take this brush, grab a little bit of our darker green, add some grass into the middle of our pathway. Now that it's dry, we can get some sharper markings, make it a bit brighter in the background. And that was a good, easy detail. Like that a lot. Now we'll clean this pretty well. Take our liner, grab more of our titanium white, a little bit of our green gold, a little bit of our cad yellow. Make the brightest pigment we have yet for our grass, and we'll just do a little highlight across here. Create some separation. You can bring that down into the rest of it. That's good. We'll also create some darker reds for our leaves. Love that. Grab our fan brush, make that nice and damp. Kind of fan it out. Then we can do lots of little bits of foliage. Oh, we are running out of time and I'm giving this our all. We got this though. We definitely have it. We can add it to here. Okay, 23 seconds. But again, maybe we get an extra 10 seconds because we were adjusting the camera earlier. What do we think? Is that fair? Is that fair? I think it's looking pretty good. Maybe we don't need it. I think we already have a really lovely painting right here. Ooh. Oh yeah, that added so much. Okay. You know what? There we are, 10 minutes on the clock. However, if we just add a hint more time, add a little bit more titanium white to the mix, we get some variety of highlight in these trees. I think we have a pretty fantastic painting. Great fall piece. Now, it's also worth noting, if you'd like to continue the challenge and do a little bit more, there is the hour plus long version of this lesson up over on Patreon. As you can see, we do the grass quite differently. We do a lot of the foliage differently. And if you would like to, again, continue learning, enjoying, painting along, you're welcome to do this. There's a link in the video description where you can also find the real-time drawing video for the traceable. You can find the color analysis video. You can find the bonus lesson along with hundreds of others. That said, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week with a brand new painting. So do subscribe, and I hope that you have a just wonderful entry into the fall season. I'll see you soon. And again, above all, as always, stay creative.